Oop, hello, everybody. How's it going? Can you guys see me? Can you hear me okay? Oh, let me see here. Okay. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's do the images again. Let's do this right. Options, state bar. There you go. All right. What up, YouTube Live? How's it going? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment. And obviously, right now, I'm covering the TV part. I had already watched tonight's The Walking Dead episode, which right now is airing on AMC. So this review, well, because the episode is already out in the ether, out in the universe, just like with many of my reviews of TV episodes that have already aired, this review contains spoilers. So heads up, there will be spoilers in this review. Um, But man, I cannot wait to talk about it. Let me pull up my notes here on my smartphone. Oh man. All right, so the title of tonight's it's season 10, episode 9, right? It's the return of the Walking Dead. I remember like when I was addicted to this show years ago, it was like it was like one of the things that I anticipate the most every year. You know, the month of October and the month of February. I always look forward to it. It's like because the month of October is the season premiere, the entire season, and the month of February is the mid season premiere, right? The return, the continuation, the second half of that season. But you know what? Nowadays, I gotta say, it kind of loses its charm. It loses its charm because The Walking Dead has gone on for too long, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe you guys disagree with me, but I feel like this show should really end. But you know, AMC, this is their cash cow. There's no way AMC is gonna let this one go, even with the two spin-offs with the including the new one. Even with that, AMC is like, no, this is the equivalence of WB and their Batman. This is our Batman, okay? So right, so last episode 8, we saw Carol um chasing down Alpha, and the rest of Carol's team, including Daryl, was like, Carol, what are you doing? No, don't run after her. Oh shoot, hold on a second. Pause. All right, give me a second here. Okay, sorry. The image again. Okay, and then Alpha lured them basically into this cave, and the episode 8, ended with the fact that the cave was filled to the brim with walkers, with zombies. They were surrounded inside this cave. There's no way out, and it's dark as shit. So that's where episode 8 ended. That was the cliffhanger. And so today's episode is titled Squeeze. You may wonder why. Why is it titled Squeeze? Well, those of you who are watching the episode right now as we speak would know why that is soon enough. But let me make a few comments regarding Carol's carelessness. Carol's carelessness. That sounds like the soldier shoulder strap slipped from the soldier shoulder. Carol's carelessness. Um, it's totally understandable. You know, I'm not a parent, but a parent who lost their kid like Carol did, the pain of losing Henry, especially in such a violent way. You know, Henry's head was on that spike. There's no way that she could ever let that go. And in this episode, she said to Daryl, I don't just want to kill Alpha, I want to make her hurt, like really painful hurt, until she begs for death, and then I'll kill her. So that's basically Carol's plan. It was revealed in this episode. And so I get it. I get it, but at the same time, I feel like Carol's mistake was that she when she was chasing down or chasing after Alpha, she completely forgot the idea, or not the idea, the fact that she was not alone, that she was there with a bunch of, her friends, and inadvertently she took them with her. If you want to go on a vendetta on your own, go like freaking Bruce Willis on Alpha's ass, or what's the Vengeance Revenge? I know this, like Peppermint on Jennifer Garner. Peppermint with Jennifer Garner. If you want to go that, just go at it all alone. Be a one man army sort of thing. Don't drag your friends with you. I think so. So that was kind of her mistake. She was so clouded and so consumed by her hatred for Alpha that she forgot that she in the process she was risking everybody else's life. Um, and you know what? I made a note here because I mentioned to you many times in my previous reviews of The Walking Dead about how because the show has gone on too long, it gotten to the point where it kind of repeats itself. Some things you notice some patterns, you notice some repetition, you notice some things are recycled. I mean, the way Carol feels about Alpha, that is exactly the way Maggie, that's the way Maggie felt about Negan. Remember when Rick Grimes shockingly decided to let Negan live. Remember, I think he Rick cut Negan, but instead of killing Negan, he's like, no, we gotta learn to live side by side, kumbaya, like my son wanted. And you remember Maggie was like so pissed off, and that kind of like it was the grudge that Maggie kept holding against Rick. Um, so yeah, I mean we've come across that before. When Carol feels that way about Alpha, it's like, I've seen this movie before. I've seen this story before. In the past, it was like Michonne went through it. I think Rick went through it as well. So it's like the same formula, repetition. It's like you kill somebody you love, and then it compels you to go on a revenge, and so consumed by it that you become stupid or careless, as you say. I don't want to use the word stupid on for Carol, but we've seen this movie before. So again, that's why I feel like the show had gone on for far too long. Like the writers had to like keep recycling the same personal dilemma, and just, oh yeah, previous seasons that was Rick's, and now we're gonna use that same personal dilemma, but apply it on Carol, or apply it on Maggie, or apply it to, what I'm saying. So anyway, I digress. The idea, I keep saying the idea, the concept of having many zombies surrounding them. Obviously, that's nothing new. That's also, goes to what I said earlier about the show gone too long. Um, Usually in season premiere or mid-season premiere, do you notice that they always go for, okay, let's come up with a scenario where there's a shitload of zombies surrounding our beloved characters. I think one of the season premieres was Raining Zombies, right? Raining Walkers. They were in the grocery store, and then the zombies, like, because the roof gave in, and the zombies like attacked them. And then there's one season premiere where um, they were, I think it was Rick Grimes that was looking at a field full of walkers, and then the season premiere had them like trying to herd the walkers, like shepherds herding sheep. So the formula of having a lot of zombies surrounding the characters, that's also been done. So when that happened tonight, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, that's The Walking Dead. Um, okay, so in this episode, Daryl figured out a way out. Daryl's like figured out, you know what? Let's do a freaking Indiana Jones move. Let's step on these stones. And then he what did he do? He used his lighter, to find out which which kind of area in the caves that have wind going through it, because that's an indicator for like maybe there's an exit, maybe there's an opening over there. I mean, like, geez, man, there it. You know what? It kind of. I guess my only comment about that is it kind of makes sense that Daryl is the leader now, because Daryl is good at that kind of stuff. Um, if you remember, in I think it was a season. I can't remember which season it was, but Daryl was. There's a scene where Daryl was like in this abandoned hospital, and he was cornered, right in a room. He was cornered, and zombies or walkers were closing in on him, and he got so tight. There's like, oh my god, there's no way out. And then what did he do? Did you remember what he do? Oh, do you remember what he did? He used gurneys. He used hospital gurneys to fend off the walkers and to kind of make a way for him, like parting sea sort of thing. So the gurneys got pushed over this way against those walkers. He pushed the other gurney against this way against the other walkers, and then he walked through it. And then I think he also stepped on them as well. Man, Daryl is smart. Daryl is fast in thinking of ways out. So when that happened in tonight's episode, I was like, of course, of course. So um, it's a good thing that Daryl kind of takes on the mantle of leadership from Rick Grimes, because I don't know if Rick Grimes could even come up with what Daryl did tonight. That's all Daryl shit, man. Um, he always knows a way out. Now, the fight in the caves. There's a fight in the caves. Happened very briefly. My only criticism is that it's too dark, way too dark. I cannot see a goddamn thing. It was so freaking dark, man. The whole time when they were fighting off the bad guys, like, or I think it was the walkers. I'm sorry. Um, I was like, somebody please turn on the lights here. I mean, I even like put up all the screen light from my computer watching it. I was like, oh, I can't see shit. It reminded me of that Game of Thrones episode, Game of Thrones final season, when it was like at nighttime, and I was like, oh, everybody was complaining. Everybody was on Twitter. I was like, man, it was way too dark. So I'm sure it was an exciting fight scene in this The Walking Dead, in this The Cave, but I was not able to enjoy it because it was so too dark. Um, so squeeze, as you know. Hold on a second. You know what? Let me double check here. Give me a second. Let's see. Where we go? Aha. Option. So squeeze, the title is because the characters are forced to crawl their way through these really narrow spaces inside the cave. Let me share with you a bit of my personal story. I went caving when I was in high school, or they call it spelunking. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Um, and it was tough. You know, I rappelled down with my friends, and we had the gears, of course, and the lights and everything. And our teacher had gone through those caves before, so he knew his way around the area. Um, so it was not like we were in danger, or it was never like we were feel. It never was like we felt unsafe. It's just that, and I'm not really claustrophobic either. I'm not really claustrophobic, but the spaces can. I mean, they really got tight. Like I was thin back then, so even then I was like, oh, I was struggling with my, I was going like one elbow in front of the other. Oh, there's one tight space where I almost cried because I thought I was gonna be stuck there forever. And they would have to call 911 on my ass, or like a chopper to lift me up or whatever. But when I saw the episode tonight, they were squeezing through those very narrow spaces. I was like, it took me back. It took me back to high school, because that's exactly how it is. They might as well title this episode "Spelunking" or "Caving." It would have fit just fine. But yeah, but it's no kidding, man. If you haven't done spelunking or caving, and you watch tonight's episode is an accurate depiction of what caving feels like. Um, yeah, I don't know if I would do it again though. So when Jerry got stuck, oh my god, oh, I was like, oh, I was holding my, not only because I've been there, I've experienced that, I know what it felt like, but at the same time, Jerry is such a beloved, he's a lovable guy. He's the lovable big man, He's like Jerry is like he's like the equivalence of Game of Thrones Hodor from Game of Thrones. Remember that? Hodor. Do you remember when he died, pushing, you know funny enough, it's also zombies or White Walkers. We were like so sad about it, right? All of us are like, why you gotta sacrifice Hodor? Why you gotta kill Hodor off like that? Because everybody loves the big man, the big lovable guy. That's what Jerry is. Um, so I was like holding on. Oh shit! Is this it? Is this it? R.I.P. Jerry. R.I.P. Jerry. Oh. No, apparently he survived, so that's a good thing. And those are some strong boots, man. I would love to. What is that, Jerry? What boots do you wear, man? Timberland, or what do you call it? Timberlake, Justin Timberlake boot. Um, but I'm glad. I'm so glad. I was like on the edge of my seat. Woo! No, don't let him kill Jerry. Um, Now, before I go to my final comment about the whole thing overall, I also want to I want to react or make my response about Negan and Alpha. Okay, so spoiler alert. Well, of course, I already told you that this video contains spoilers. Negan, at first in this episode, is he's trying to angle his way in. He's trying to make, he's trying to see if he can influence Alpha, and because Negan is a boss. He's not a follower. So the idea of him having to just sit around and follow orders, that bugs him. That's not his nature. He's like, hey, I'm an alpha, just like Alpha. Like, I can't be just like, be told what to do and that's it. So he's angling his way in, not necessarily going for the Frankenstein monsters position, the big guy. But he's like, because there's an opening, and he saw an opportunity and he took it. Um, and that opportunity is like trying to feed the information to Alpha that, hey, maybe that the other girl played by Thora Birch, maybe she's the traitor. Maybe she's the one that's been feeding information to Alexandrians. So Negan is playing, he's playing the game, right? He's like at the beginning of the episode, he's like I keep using Game of Thrones examples. He's like Littlefinger, Baelish. It's like whispering, like trying to, like a serpent, right? Persuading, hey, I can be of use to. I can be of use to. Let me in. I know information. You should look into her. She might be the traitor. So she's playing. I mean, Negan is playing that role in this episode, and it rewards him well, man. By the end of today's episode, Alpha, because Alpha pretty much believed Negan, and I don't think Negan is wrong on this. I think Thora Birch's character has indeed flipped over. So the reward was Alpha. Alpha gave herself up to Negan. And this is AMC, right? This is not HBO. This is not Cinemax. This is not Showtime. So they gotta, the director has to make sure that okay, so you shoot it from the waist up if you're a guy. If you're a girl, you shoot it from the um above the chest area all the way up. That's what they did. And then there's a shot from a distance showing Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Samantha Moore naked, hugging each other. But what cracks me up, the reason I laugh is because Alpha keeps her mask on. Oh my god. I tweeted like that was some kinky ass nasty shit right there. Because it's like she could have easily just like taken off her mask, right? Like what's the use of having the mask on and have sex with it on? Like unless unless you think that that's a turn on, unless you think that's sexy. But number two, dude, that the Whisperer's mask or the skin mask that they wear, that thing is dirty. They've been all over the place, man. I don't know if they even washed that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tweeted like that was some kinky ass nasty shit. I had to add the nasty part because that is dirty, man. I don't know. And I don't mean to be too graphic or details, but both the characters, not the actors, both Negan and Alpha probably, being out there in the wild, you know what I'm saying? They probably don't shower much. I mean, they probably don't even shave much. Just bush all over and I don't know, man. I don't mind sex scenes. I get it. Sex sells. And there's been sex scenes before on The Walking Dead before in the past, including Rick and Michonne. But today's sex scene in particular, kind of, I feel like, oh, I don't, I did not accept it as something that's, ooh, that's hot, that's steamy. No, I wasn't like that. I was like, ooh. I was laughing and I went like this, ooh. Because of the reasons I told you. The mask, she kept it on, and the mask is dirty, and they probably dirty. I don't know. But hey, so I my last comment about that before I give you my overall thought. That Alpha did not necessarily have to give sex as a gift, as a present, as a reward to Negan, right? I mean, if the information about the traitor was given to her by the Frankenstein monster, the big guy, the right hand man, or any of the other members of the Whisperers, I'm sure Alpha would just reward them with, I don't know, hey, you get a couple of days off. Or like, hey, you don't have to do that chore tomorrow. Or, I'll reward you by letting you live. So her, kind of like in a way seducing Negan. It's not necessarily like a reward, as in like she already had this in the back of her head. She was horny for Negan from the day that he stepped into the camp. Like otherwise that would not be. Otherwise, that would not have been the reward. You know what I'm saying? Because she rewards him with sex is because it was like she was craving him the whole time, and I was like, finally she got an excuse. Like, I have an excuse because he did something nice for me. I can just return the favor. So it's like a mutual beneficial thing. But she always had it for him. Otherwise, she would have like given the reward, that the same reward that she would have given to other people. That is some funny stuff. Okay. Overall thought. Lastly, because of what happened at the end of today's episode, um, unfortunately, a couple of the characters did die or seemingly die. We don't know yet, but the rubbles fell on them, and who knows? They might be just trapped in there. They might still be alive, but inside, deep within the caves. Because it's the mining caves. There's a lot of route in it. Who knows? But because of that, Carol really was really devastated, obviously, and so was Daryl at the end of today's episode, and you could tell that that loss at the end, that the death of the couple of those people, really hit Daryl hard, so much so that it pissed him off now to see Carol, because throughout the episode, Daryl was so long suffering and long patient for Carol. Right? Carol's like, it's my fault, it's my blame, and Daryl kept like, you gotta let this go. I know it hurt. I know it hurts over Henry, but so throughout the episode, you can tell Daryl really still trying to reach out to Carol, but once the other characters, I think one of them Daryl really is fond of, got hit by the rubbles, dude. Daryl was like so pissed at Carol. Like he at the end of today's episode, he saw her differently. Ooh. So that's gonna be quite the friction, because we as in the audience have always known Carol and Daryl to be like this, two tight friends. You know, they're not lovers, but they're like tight. They would die for each other. But after today's episode, we don't know yet. We don't know anymore. We don't know if they would die for each other anymore now. So it's an interesting turn of event. I don't think it's been recycled before, so good on the writers to go this direction. Um, yeah, and one quick comment as well. God, Martin, what's her name? God, yeah, the lady who plays Carol, Martina McBride, right? I want to make sure I got the name correctly here. My God, what an actress! What an actress! She really gives her all. Um, no, not Martina McBride. That's a singer. She really gave her all in just this one episode. I mean, we've seen Melissa McBride, not Martina McBride. Melissa McBride. Melissa McBride. We've seen her, do equally great in the past. But today's episode, her. I mean, I felt for her pain, man, and it must have been an exhausting thing for her, for Melissa McBride, because I don't know how many takes. Maybe they only like, okay, we're gonna do this one take, and you're gonna give it all emotionally. We need all coming out of you, tears, everything, you know. And she did it. She went there, and it just floored me. Um, and the fact that Melissa McBride to this day, still, in to my knowledge, still has not been recognized by the Emmy. It's an abomination. It really is. Um, the Emmy doesn't even recognize The Walking Dead past, you know, makeup, probably just makeup category or music, right? Bear McCreary. But they really need to recognize Melissa McBride, because she is one hell of an actress. She's been she's been with the show from the beginning, and her role over the years has gotten more and more significant, more and more poignant. And I don't know, this year I think we're going to be treated with Melissa McBride even in her absolute best, even more so than ever before. So and we as an audience of The Walking Dead should be really, we should feel rewarded by that. um at the same time, though, it is kind of sad that this season, if I'm not mistaken, is Michonne's last season, right? Actress Danai Gurira. She's leaving us after this season, so we don't know if they're gonna kill her off, or if they're just gonna send her off somewhere, like walking down to the sunset. Who knows? So that's something that I think when that happens, we're all gonna cry. But as far as crying goes, Melissa McBride did a ton of tears, and then in today's episode, and wow, what a performance! What an actress! So that's it. Those are all the notes that I have, thoughts that I have about today's The Walking Dead season 9, episode 10. I'm sorry, season 10, episode 9. Whoop, flip it over. Titled Squeeze. Let me know if you have seen it too. Do you agree or disagree with my assessment? What did you think of today's episode? Did you like it or did you not like it? If you had some criticism about it, let me know. Share them in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell. And if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. All right, let's get back to the tunnel vision. And as always, let's rock this.